Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. Welcome, welcome. This is the daily energy readings with tarot that I do to help support, guide and inspire those who want to be, need to be supported, guided and or inspired. Take what resonates. It is general and leave what does not. Leave a comment. I would do appreciate them and will catch up to them. Just been super busy. And let it help your day, let it help you guide the energies within you, around you and within others so that you can reach your highest potentials. That's what I want. That's what I put out there with my intent. So take it and run with it. So this is for the 12th of March 2021. Okay, let's go with the bottom of the deck on this one first. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So this speaks of Taurus being very apparent right now. I'm not sure as to right now what's happening with the astrology, but Taurus feels very apparent. You know, there's a lot of concentration on the direction that we need to go in, on the planning that needs to take place, and not of the so-called powers that be, not of the so-called kings and queens that keep dictating it. This is strategic in your own right. This is taking that energy back, taking that strategy back, that planning, that ability to plot a route for seeking of abundance, sustainability, new ways of making things, new ways of doing things that create sustainability and abundance. It also talks about the knightly energy. A knight is the energy of bravery, of strength, of valor and victory. And where this knight isn't rushing in, for sure, I feel we've had enough time in our individual lives over this period of stagnation that has been put out by a very strong gestational spell, in my opinion. We've had enough time now to start taking this authority back as a knight would in any situation where his land, his sustainability is threatened, and especially when it's threatened unfairly and tyrannically. And so where in your individual life are you not taking this authority? Where in your individual life are you procrastinating on your planning and taking action on that plan? Have you got so many lists now of to-do lists now that you can't even remember which one was your first list or which one was your first task? If you've been in this energy, then it's time to snap out of it for sure in your individual life, to take back this authority, to take back this victory and start acting accordingly on your plans. This knight looks ahead. He has foresight. He has tactical knowledge. And so use your tactics, use your authority and your will to plot your own way, to plot your own path. If by now anybody is in any doubt that it's all one big lie, that government is there to serve you, that government is there to protect you, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. So for those of you who can see that, for those of you who have those eyes to see that and those ears to hear that, it's time to take this authoritative role in your own life. And that is with the others around you. What is stopping you from taking these actions to these plans that are being made for you, that you're making for yourself? What is not working within that plan? What are the obstacles? You know, instead of putting your head in the sand, be like this knight, head very forward, very focused on his what would be a tulpa. It's his pentacle. It's what he wants to create and what he wants to get to. It's something that he's already put in his energy and focus into it, and he's looking beyond it to the horizon as to where to plant this pentacle, where to plant this focused energy, this plan. So for sure be doing that. On the collective stage, I think I've said most of what I need to say, in that, you know, the so-called powers that be, these globalist elite scumbags, are taking your land, are taking your birthrights, are trying to absolutely do yet a whole new cycle that will be looked back on as a historical point where humanity was turned in a direction that does not make sense. I feel like it already projecting into the future for those who don't help take back this authority, for those who don't help us focus on a fairer society, on a more compassionate society, a more sustainable society, then I really do feel that, you know, it will be looked upon as ancestors as to the failures that we made along the way and the consequences that we've left for those that are left here to live with it in the future, in there now. And so that really does need to be taken seriously. There's such dark forces right now, and I know you've got to balance that out, because in order to be within this, we have to be in this loving and light of heart state. But we cannot do that in the entirety. We have to be able to focus on the reality of what is happening. These people do this energy really well. They plan, they plot ahead. They have now built systems, you know, those algorithms that help them predict, or help them, even like the Royal College of London, spew out absolute fake numbers, fake predictions every single time, that have directed some kind of worldwide jab in the arm drive, or some kind of, you know, weird and strange way, which seems like nothing is really connected, but it's all one big spell for more of a takeover. This is strategy, it's tactic, and they've actually built up systems to help their strategy and tactic. We need to be doing the same. We need to be taking it as seriously as them, and that counts for us in our individual lives too. We need to be taking this authority. We need to be tactical. We need to be analytical. We need to be balancing that with our spirituality, with our etherical, but it needs to be balanced in reality also. We are living bodies here, and yes, we are on all different levels of self, but we have to take into account the realities that we have here right in front of us also, which in my opinion have an effect on the other dimensions, on the other realms anyway, and vice versa. And so we do really need to accept that we are in a war. It's both a spiritual war, planetary, seemingly war. Planets are changing, you know, the speed is changing. There's a lot of change to be taken into account, and if we aren't focused and strategic and tactical about our moves, and actually start to make those moves, not in a reactionary way, because this knight is not reactionary. You can see his horse is standing perfectly. He's at a still, and a stillness, and he'll take that stillness, you know, over periods of time, stop, pause, think, take into account the energies and what's going on, and then go again. This is where we need to be for sure. It would be interesting to see what the planets are actually doing regarding the Taurus type energy, and that Taurus bull. And so we've got on the bottom of the other deck the Queen of Cups. So this is speaking about, we've got to get into this space of not just saying that we are connected with our intuitive and compassionate self, but really delving deeper into that regarding self-love, self-compassion, affirmations, and then stretching that out to those around us. We really need to start utilizing these extra, not even extra, just innate gifts that we have that have been dumbed down, dulled down, or switched off, to really start to use the very things that the so-called powers that be are using. And many of you have what I would call vampiric energies around you, where it's the draining of energy. They're using their powers, they're using their intuitive powers to pick up on where they can drain this energy and how, and they're following their intuition, you know, so for better or worse. So for better, we really need to be doing the same thing, but for the better, connecting with self deeply with self, really getting to know self, in order to be able to stretch out this intuition and compassion, which would make this a beautiful, compatible relationship, because you have this spiritual, etherical wisdom, intuitive wisdom, which then has a stabilizing and bolstering effect on this divine masculine action, poised for action, strategic, mathematical, authoritative, analytical mind. So we've got the two combined. If we can do that for ourselves today, it would be a very powerful day indeed. So the first card we've got is the Five of Swords. Speaks of, it's again getting into battles that we can't win right now. A lot of these on the collective stage, expect the distractions to be huge. You know, the race distractions, looking at the interviews that are coming up, looking at the headlines that are coming up, the deliberate acts of racism played out, which may have real victims, but actually were planned strategically in order to take over another part of the rollout of whoever plan it is, either from the big scale to the small scale. Expect to be in your individual life. If you're still in the space of attracting this in a big way, attracting this energy of conflict where people want to prove their point to you, where people want to get you to prove your point. And the wisdom in this is to say, one, do not be distracted on your focus and your goal. If you're told you can't do it, make sure you know you can do it even more. Use that energy, transmute it, and use it as a propellant rather than a repellent to your plan. Dig down deep into your intuitive compassion and remove yourself from that frequency. Don't lower yourself to that frequency. They come in to feed, because you know they've realized that a lot of us have got this energy, this compassion, this empathy, one for trying to tell people how things are going down and trying to warn people, and two for just being there as a good siphon, you know, as to siphon off from. This has to stop, especially in the spiritual community. That there is no there's no extra badges for being used. Yes, we're there to help people in a lot of ways. Yes, we're here to guide and support people in a lot of ways, but these people in this energy, and believe you me, today there's going to be a lot of them, they don't want to be. They've been shown all of the proofs. It's not hard to look at all of the proofs and all of the contradictions. They don't want that. They want to maintain themselves within this conflict. Why? They're terrified of their inner self, because you're reflective of somebody who's not terrified of their inner self and their inner powers, and exploring those, you're immediately a flame to them. They're attracted to it, but also repelled by it. So they want to bring you down to their frequency. So there's no amount of words or there's just no amount of action you can take here to win this argument. So the action you do take is to just remove yourself from it. You know, a mother, if you look at this as a motherly energy, which it is, a mother isn't just this soft, cuddly, you know, creature. Yes, all that and more. You know, I cuddle my kids just to smell them. I know every part of them. I know the different smell of them. Their essence, their incense. And I cuddle them and I smell them. Of course I do. We all do that, actually. It's still this animalistic thing that we know are owned by that, and it's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, there is no moment in this reality where I do not want to hug my children. I'll stop what I'm doing to do so, and smell them. But the wisdom is that even when they're arguing with me, I can be showing them that compassion, you know, but I have to realize that Theodore can pull people into debates. Now, debates are okay. I encourage that. William, William's a bit camera shy, but if you guys met him, he's hilarious, and he's so intelligent, he can pull you into debates, and often you could lose. He has some good old points. He's a very old soul. And so if everything in me, even within those times when it turns from not debate, but trying to argue with the parent, me, the authority figure, even when I don't like what they're saying, or they're raising their voice, even in that moment, I want to hug them, I want to smell them. But do I do that? No, because I'm not going to. I want to raise their frequency up to mine. I want to get them out of this combative place. I want to get them out of that frequency. And there's some arguments that these kids make with me that, if I just go in and do what everything in me wants to do, which is the Queen of Cups, and just hug them and smell them, it's okay. That's not going to wash this time. It's not going to do it this time. They're in too much of a combative blur. The clouds are all over the place. It's crazy. It's when you look at those black and white pictures and see what you see. 1 minute it would be a butterfly. You'd see a butterfly, a rainbow maybe, whatever it is. And then the same image, if you're in this frequency, you're going to see, I don't know, hell on wheels. You're going to see a raging lunatic coming out of the paper. You're in a haze. And to try and meet that frequency in that moment is no good. What works most of the time is silence and a glare. Silence and what are you bringing this to me for? What do you want me to do with this? Just giving up the energy of that. That is what works with this. And unfortunately, a lot of us are going to have to be doing that and employing that tactic today for sure, because there's just a lot of this hazy energy where they're seeing things that aren't really there, and they can't see what is really there that you could put right in front of their face, and they can't see it. This is very clever, and it's been happening for a long time throughout these systems collectively. And now a lot of people are infected with this way of thinking, with this way of being in this combative place, and they're very infected with this. It's cataracts. There's cataracts over a lot of people's eyes. They're seeing things with a different lens. Why? Collectively, throughout this collective stage, the educational system has been infiltrated by these people who puppet these so-called powers that be in politics. And so generations down, we're really feeling the effect of that right now. And so this is where we have to be the authoritative mother and not lower ourselves to that frequency, rather stay in our frequency, invite them with your silence to come up. Often when you give people silence, I love it in like, I've got an affinity, I don't know, with various parts of what would be the gangster. I understand certain actions, been around certain people where, you don't agree with everything, but you understand certain actions that had to be taken for the greater good in certain situations. And some of the people that I've met, I'm not going to say too much, but some of the people that I've met that are up there, they're very charismatic, they're very enjoyable to be around, but their silence is deafening. And often they'd get what they want out of somebody, or a result that they wanted, through silence. And the person that they wanted something from, or to get the thing that they wanted to happen through that person would fill up the space, would talk and talk and talk to the point where the void of their silence started filling up, and they would start backtracking, and then they would start to try and please. So often silence can be a huge tactical weapon to, one, get people to drop themselves in it, and two, to get people to back the F off. And so my daughter's great at that. She's so much better than me at that. I practice it, not very good at it. The glare, got it down. Silence, nah, not so much. Gemini. So we've got the Page of Cups to clarify. Yes, we have. We've got the Page of Cups to clarify the Five of Swords. got Page of Cups later on too, so in another deck coming out, so that's why I'm getting confused. So the Page of Cups, this is talking about this Piscean age, and I don't know, there's like these two options with these two cards here. There's this energy of this Neptunian sort of illusion, you know, getting actually lost in space, in things that aren't going to serve, getting lost in that void. And I suppose I've covered it pretty well, but you know, like getting lost in that part of the expansive, you know, illusionary aspect of the Piscean age, the way things have to be, and confusing, you know, wanting to box things off when that's not Neptunian at all. There's this conflict, it's just murky. And then there's this other option of Neptune to really connect with the inner self, and really connect with the psychic nature and intuitive nature, watery emotional nature of the makeup of us and the makeup of the collective and beyond. So there's this with these two cards combined in your individual life, watch out for sneaky little tactics. People coming to you with a fish in a cup, acting all cute and childlike, and you know, like, oh, I just wanted to hang out, or just wanted this, I just wanted to speak to you, and how are you? Oh, you don't look very well today. And you start to see those tactics sneaking in, this conflict. They're offering you something and it's an illusion. They want to pull you into whatever they want you pulled into, something on their level, certainly conflict, certainly wanting you to take sides. Maybe even, you know, getting you in a space, and I'm sorry for whoever this resonates with, but getting you in a space, getting you to trust that they need what they're saying that they need, and then to turn it on you and actually start this twittering about you in the background to other people, accusing you of things. I don't know where this is coming from, and for whoever it is, feel free to email me if you're in trouble with this, because it's psychically, I feel it's genuine that nothing went down here, and believe me, if I had any hint that it did, I wouldn't even be giving you any help. It would be because of where my heart lies. It feels like somebody might be getting lied about regarding doing something to a child, being not yet being accused of being physically inappropriate, but flirtatiously inappropriate, maybe something on that level. This is very dark, very deceitful, and very nasty. And you feel for the child even involved, because you know, the parent or the auntie and the uncle, whoever these people are that I can see, you know, using a child that way to get to somebody, that they have such a low frequency within themselves and such a self-hatred and self-loathing that they would actually use a child as a conduit to do this. Again, this feels planned and tactical and strategic, and so, you know, to protect yourself regarding that. Yeah, feel free to reach out if you need to or want to for any support. And that's me psychically seeing that situation, feeling that situation, because as far as, you know, if I thought anything was going down, I'd be the first to say, you know, but no, there's not in this situation. We have the Five of Cups. Now the Five of Cups coming out in the next card. There's this, if you are in this place of sorrow, if you are in this place of mourning, but not actually processing yourself through this mourning period, letting go of what's already been spilt, what is gone. From a collective point of view, we have these people with this Five of Cups refusing to let go of the outdated models of politics, refusing to see the irrefutable lie of all of these systems, refusing to see that it would be better if these people were not in charge, and certainly if these globalists were not allowed to get away with what they get away with, which is completely contradictory. There's this refusal to drag themselves into reality. If you're feeling this from the collective stage, yeah, I'm feeling it too. It's getting annoying, and I'm having to transmute that regularly. As far as your individual lives, the same thing goes. We have been so conditioned for such a long time to accept the status quo, to, go to school, go to college. Only these certain degrees mean anything. The certain colleges, don't really mean anything. And certain colleges do. To then get yourself in debt, buy a house, get married, buy a house, have children, stay married, even if you're super unhappy, which causes all sorts of hurts and problems. Adultery comes in, and so we are literally conditioned to hold on to these outdated systems that don't actually match the natural human and our natural expression, and certainly not our expansive, once we get to know self real well, with our psychic natures and our connected natures. These models are outdated and do not suit the human, yet we are still clinging on to old paradigms in our life, and we are mourning them excessively. And to put it quite frankly, we would need to really process and use this time of the moon feeling to really let go of this, truly let go of this. It's, it's not going to do any good, those around you, and certainly not the movement and direction we go in collectively. There's more to think about right now, so we need to flip off this cloak. We need to, get ourselves cleaned up, dusted off, turn around, pick up our 2 cups, our divinities, our divine feminine, divine masculine, and charge ahead strategically. The Queen of Swords. So we've got the Queen of Swords energy. This, I feel, for a lot of us, for a lot of you, it is that there's this, it's time now, especially today, to speak. The Queen of Swords, she's a beautiful divine feminine queen as the Queen of Cups, but she can seem quite standoffish. She doesn't, suffer fools gladly. She doesn't cast her pearls before swine. The Queen of Swords, the swords part of the deck, is quite brutal. It is, wisdom comes with a price, kind of thing, especially within these systems that we've been within. And so there's this price to pay to get on this throne. You've been through some stuff for sure. And so we've got this energy of this Queen of Swords. It's not that she's awful or nasty, just very different from the other queens in that she can be, as can be seen as the ice queen. Now that's not bad, because water is memory, and the icicles can look like swords and can be as deadly as swords if they drop in the right place. So they, but that wisdom that's held within them is can be both empowering and heavy. But the Queen of Swords has this wisdom, this intellect, this authority. And so speaking this into your life for sure, speaking honestly to yourself to really get in control of your emotions rather than them controlling you over this mourning period, is vital today, to be able to give yourself this sword of truth, to be able to give yourself this kick up the jacksie, so to speak, to get yourself out of this funk, is very much advisable today. And so we also see that a lot of you will be this Queen of Swords energy, and it's not always so enjoyable being the Queen of Swords. I know, I am one. And so sometimes it can come in hot and heavy, but that's what's just got to be said. You've gone past all of the softness, you've gone past all of the there, there comes a point where you have to say, this isn't working. I need to tell you this. I need to say this. You can't stay, or you can choose to stay in this energy. But as the Queen of Swords again would say, but I've got to remove myself from this, because I've done all that I can do to say to you to get you lifted out of this funk. Sometimes that's what people need to start to think, oh, I haven't got that energy source anymore. And it's not that these people within these two cards would necessarily be doing that deliberately. It's just that you're getting lost in victimhood. Victimhood often leads to quite aggressive, but not aggressive on the part of the person being a nasty person, an aggressive feeding cycle of others' energies, of others' wisdoms, of others' care. And so this might be happening for you. Some of you, it feels like it is within the family, which is difficult for sure. It's difficult to be the Queen of Swords when, especially when it's family, when all you want to do is compassionately love them and just love on their energy, just love on their problem, just love on all of that. But actually you realize that you're an enabler. And so you need to take that enablement away. And often that is rejected out of people that they don't like that. They don't like that source being taken away. So, but you know, it has to be done if this resonates with you, the energy that this is. Giving perspective to the problem, you know, giving a thoughtful truth to the problem today is for yourself if you're feeling in this funk, and also for the people that you might be needing to reach out to help them get out of it. I never saw that. I've had these cards for the longest time. There's red underneath. There's red, and that's just made me think of family, blood ties. As far as the collective stage, actually, this speaks a lot to religion too. You know, it's time to stop namby-pambying around with that. You know, there's a lot of truths within the religions. There's a lot, but a lot of them are just ancient truths that have been taken on, but then they've been sort of fossilized and fixated into this thing that, you know, causes us to be in this guilt and this mourning all of the time. And, you know, so there needs to be a lot of truth spoken to that also. As far as what it would do for the collective stage, what it would lift and relieve us of collectively would be huge if we could do that. So we've got the Page of Cups again here. And so we've got this clarified by the Six of Coins. From the collective stage, don't trust these people. There's something I feel going to be announced today, particularly by Biden, you know, that looks like a gift. And you know, when I had a experience, many experiences, but this one took the biscuit, so to speak. I took the cake, whatever the saying is. And you know, I've been with a narcissist a long time, and there was a lot of things went down. A birthday come up, and there was this, you know, I want to make it up, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it was like, okay. And you realize that the whole day was paid for by your stolen card that had been stolen previously, and a call got it called away, you know, to go somewhere for 20 minutes and come back and put the card back. So I'd never knew it had gone away. But the whole day, all of the presents, and the whole time I was saying, oh no, it's fine, I don't want to spend that much of your money on. And I was literally looking at trinkets, but that's what I'm like with gifts, not so great at it. It was my money that I was being careful with. It was my money that I was trying to be honourable with. And I didn't find out until a couple of weeks later and looked at the statement and realised that, oh, that day cost me like £250 and I spent about 30. It's that kind of gift today. And it's the audacity that we will feel for people who have their eyes to see and ears to hear. You're going to say, you've got the cheek to wrap that announcement up in a great big beautiful bow, as if you're giving people what they rightfully should have for the trouble that you've helped be part of causing. You've got the cheek to deliver that statement and this gift to the people, you know, and wrap it up like that, wrap it up as if it's some kind of huge gesture that is, you know, of your making, and you're so, it's so, we should be so grateful for that. That's the kind of energy today. It also feels like the other bee, that Boris, you know, that he's going to be saying other things today. He's been very quiet recently, and it comes to mind of the other day he announced that, you know, there would be a 1%, you know, they've got everybody in the UK, clap for your NHS, bang the pots for your NHS, and people who are working in the NHS and live on those streets where every Thursday people were clapping and banging at 8 o'clock, like shift change time, when people have come home from maybe a full 12-hour day shift and just want to go to bed. You're banging the very people that you're banging for awake, and he goes and delivers them a 1% pay increase, whereas civil servants just got 13% pay increase like that. It's a joke that they've got us, you know, save our NHS, when they're deliberately killing it and making us feel the guilt for that, you know, for badly using the NHS, going to the doctor too much, you know, ridiculous. And so it feels like that kind of thing today. Watch out for this kind of the other side of the Piscean illusion, gifting, you know, and to be super careful of that filtering down into your individual life too. That feels like a hot potato today as far as energy and the energies within people is concerned. But then conversely, there's those of you that have been, you may be met with this, but you see it coming a mile off, and you've also been, you know, being those queens and being that strategic knight, and you've been leading up to these energies, and you utilize these energies to actually attract in today what is a true gifting, what is a true gratitude gesture, what is a true reciprocity between two people. I would also encourage you individually to really go down deep, you know, meditate, you know, just meaning to, you know, literally meaning to get familiar with, knowing thyself. So however you do that is fine. You know, you make your meditation your own. But I'd really encourage you today, tonight, to do some real connection with self, and really try and keep diving deeper into self, and paying some reverence to the connection with the Piscean energy, the psychic energy, the emotional body, and trying to expand that out into the emotional body of the nature around you, within the water in particular, fish in particular, within the watery cosmos. You know, often I feel like when I'm up there, I'm swimming. I can feel the texture of it. And so yesterday, Abigail showed me a video, and it just got us both. And it was a whale, firstly, getting scratched by people, and you could see it was smiling and enjoying it. And I feel such an affinity with those things, like the maturity of them, the wisdom within them. I can just feel it, and sometimes I want to climb inside their mind for a moment and just walk around and feel that. Now, I've seen whale-like creatures in my travels, and in what would be depicted as the cosmos, the skies. And then she showed me this other video where the whale is just on its side, and it's emerging up from the water, and then you see the ripples of the water, making it look like kaleidoscopy at first. And then this eye emerges, and you can see this big whale eye just blinking at whoever is taking the video. And you can feel the connection. This whale is gazing, and you want to just dive into the pupil of that eye, and just be in connection with it, and feel and say, where do you disappear to? Which part of the sea do you know that we haven't even seen? You know, you big, huge creature, where do you go to? you know, what is it like? What colors are there? What plant life is there? What other life is there? Where do you go? And unfortunately, the way humans are, I'm glad we don't know in the entirety. Give them some peace in their own place of living. But you know, that is, I really just feel there's a lot to be gained by looking at something what would seem simplistic, you know, on my daughter's Instagram, where she popped in, and being able to look at that eye, and from that literally going into the mind's eye, and well, the etherical eye, I want to say, and delving deep and imagining yourself diving within and being in connection with that beautiful being of the water, and doing that with yourself, that you are made up of water and there's memories within you. And so if you can visualize diving deeper and deeper and deeper into these pupils of self, into these eyes of you, these windows to your soul, there's something, it's like a primordial power in this today, that I can't stress enough, as you can see. So if you can feel and do that, that would be huge. And I really would appreciate hearing in the comments, but it, you know, what you found, you know, what you felt, what sensations, you know, all of the things I take into account when I do this kind of thing for me. It helps build that dialogue and give others the confidence to do so. So a lot of the gifting, a lot of the reciprocity in the Six of Coins is found within your own waters today. It's sourced from you. It's sourced from self. It is your cup that is being held out by this page. You know, it is this fish that is looking straight back at you, just like that whale did on that video. Delve deep. There's beautiful things to be found here. You can see actually here the water's green behind this page, and there's a lot of green, sage light green on his head, around his tunic. So it's a lot to do with the heart chakra. It's a lot to do with impregnating your waters, not with this. You know, look at the difference. You've got people, and it's such a shame, but you've got people literally wanting to impregnate their waters, their love, their cups, their emotions with this. And it's such a different picture when you look at this, you know, building relationship with self, being balanced, and attracting in reciprocity between others, because you're gazing into this cup and feeding your waters, feeding your emotional body with love, with understanding, with inner standing, and being in. This page is looking at this fish and he's gazing into it, because there's a scale to see every time his eye, a little bit like when you lie on the ground, and I love doing this, the stars, there's a layer of stars, and then your eyes focus again and you see there's another layer, they focus again, and there's another layer, and before you know it, your eyes are coming up and down this ladder of layers of different stars that when you first glanced at it you didn't see. There's so much to see here, and it starts with really delving in deeper, and this really does take you to the throne of the emotional body with this Queen of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So that's the reading for the 12th of March. I hope it helps you reach your highest potentials today and every day. And let me know in the comments as to what you make of it, as to what you did with it, whatever you want to do. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. It opens up dialogue, and it's a lot more of a truthful dialogue than you get from mainstream. And it builds relations. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you booking in for readings, any spiritual coaching, or any energy work sessions, because that helps sustain and maintain me and my children. And hopefully, you know, from what I hear, I'm making a difference and helping others with that. So you can hook up with me for any of that at truedivinemedia@gmail.com. I'm not even going to say Facebook because I don't know what's going on there. I was off it for a bit and now I can't get back on it. And I think I've said something wrong, or they're saying it's up sometime today, tomorrow. I don't know. Don't really care. So I appreciate you all. Much love. Stay balanced and stay whole. Mwah.